Good morning. Can I have some sort of energy in the room? How many of you are aware of what is Indus App Store? Can I see a show of hands? Like a very small show of hands also will work. Cool. Not many know about it then. Cool. So we are actually Indus App Store. It's a PhonePe product, wherein our vision at this point of time is to actually build an alternative Android App Store for India that's meant to that's somewhere actually meant to delight the developer and consumers alike. Today, I think most of us are in this room are the right amount of folks, the right developers here, and most of us also happen to be consumers of an app store ecosystem. And in a country like India, where 97% of smartphones are Android based, we are building for India. I think where we started off from was, why do we actually need an alternative app store? Most of you have a phone that also has an app store. You've always been using it for a very long while. There's typically no need, right? That's what most people end up believing. But where we are coming from is the fact that with the whole headwinds changing globally, there is a need for clear, transparent policies regarding the app store scheme of things. There needs to be a policy for a favorable commission structure. Developers need not be really paying up to 30% that they kind of end up paying right now for everything that they're creating, because 30% is a huge number. And there's obviously a need for local context. Most of the app stores that you use today are probably meant for global markets that are then coming to India. But what about an app store that's meant just for Indians? And obviously what we learned was there's a insane amount of lack of developer support as well, because I think what most of you end up doing is when you have a query, you probably send in an email, you get an automated reply, we've received your query, and then somebody gets back to you in whatever 7 business or working days. So I think that's where we kind of started off from, and we thought that, hey, you know what, we want to break the entire app store, somewhere sort of a duopoly that currently exists. And why, as PhonePe, we can kind of do that is because as PhonePe, we are already reaching out to about 520 million odd users in India. That's broadly about 80% of the smartphone market that India has. And we've got about 245 million plus monthly active users too. So we are somewhat aware of how India is transacting as well, because we are doing about $1.5 billion worth of annualized TPV every year. Talking about what is the Indus App Store legacy. So Indus App Store is now, it used to be called Indus OS before, is now a part of the PhonePe group. And the team that's there working on the Indus App Store has had about 10 years of legacy in the App Store ecosystem. They've managed 250 million odd users at scale, and they've also managed about 10 odd OEM partnerships. And I don't know how many of you know, but Indus used to actually power the Samsung Galaxy store in India for a very long while. And in a market like India, which is the world's second largest smartphone market, you've got about 700 million odd users. We are probably the highest consumers of internet in the world, and we are obviously one of the biggest app download markets that exists. So we felt that this is probably the right time to kind of build a app store business for these 700 million Indians that's kind of built different. We are embarking on a journey for these 700 million people with an app store that's kind of made for the 700 million folks in India. Because did you guys actually know 90% of Indians actually prefer consuming content in their own local languages? 90% of, by the way, what's getting consumed in India is getting consumed in Indian languages. And here we are. So what we thought was, we'll actually build a truly localized app store experience, which lets you actually, I'll play this one out for you guys. You can actually toggle between 12 Indian languages with just a simple toggle. Pick your Indian language that you want, and the whole app store experience actually just changes. And we're supporting the top 12 Indian languages that covers for about almost more than 90% of the language consumption that exists today in India. And what we are also bringing to the table is an ability for Indians to search in their native languages. Most folks end up probably not being able to type correctly. You probably just know the pronunciation. You don't know how it's spelled. So where we are coming from is, hey, you know what? Why don't you type in a language that is somewhat of your preference? So if you look at it, there's an audio also that's not playing because we don't make audios. So what people can do is very simply put, you can literally search for things in your own native languages, and the App Store experience is kind of going to deliver that out for you. What we are also doing today is launching Indus as a destination for discovery of apps. Not so much, I would say, hey, it's an app store that has apps listed, why don't you go and download? I don't think so. We want to be in that place. Where we want to be is we want to build a destination for app discovery in India, wherein how you discover the apps today is, there's the audio sir chal nahi raha hai, dobara ek bari dekh lijiye. But what you can do is, so what people can actually do is just keep on scrolling short form video content, and that's how you discover apps. So
रमी के ट्रू फैंस, रमी सर्कल पर आपका स्वागत है। शुरू करें अपनी एक्साइटिंग जर्नी 2000 के वेलकम बोनस के साथ। बेस्ट रमी।
Yeah, so you can actually just keep on scrolling content and keep on discovering it. And what we are also going to be doing, and especially for a lot of global folks coming to India and a lot of Indian folks trying to reach out to Indians in other languages, what we're going to bring to the table is that you can actually list out your apps in 12 Indian languages. So if you see, this is actually the same JioCinema listing that exists in different languages because we customize your video description according to that language.
வாழ்க்கையில எதுவும் ஈஸி இல்ல, முயற்சி பண்ணா எதுவும் கஷ்டம் இல்ல. Come on boys.
Yeah.
मैं तो सिर्फ एक चौथी फेल आम आदमी
That's the Hindi list.
जिसकी एक बीवी है
So
और
it's
दो
still
बेटियां।
JioCinema,
यही मेरी
but
दुनिया है।
in 12 Indian languages. And everything changes accordingly in terms of what are people watching, what are people wanting to do, and the Hindi videos play for Hindi folks. The Tamil video would play for somebody watching Tamil. And for instance, let's say somebody wanted to watch Drishyam. If there's a Tamil video that's uploaded actually by the developer, a consumer will see the same thing in Tamil. Where we are coming from, where is all of this coming from? Because there's about 1.4 billion Indians who have their own identity, their own preferences, and we kind of want to build for each of them because none of you are the same. So why should your app store experience be the same? So what we're doing is we're bringing in insane amount of personalization. So all that you saw was actually, that's going to be customized to each one of you. So the feed of Ritij is probably different from a feed of an Eric, is different from a feed of a Pranav. So all of these feeds are going to be different. And what we are also doing is, everybody doesn't need an email ID to start an App Store experience. There's no reason specifically as to why you need. You just need authentication. That, hey, this is my number and this is my App Store experience. So what we're doing is, we're starting all of this with just a mobile number based login. So you just need your mobile number that's linked to the account and you're ready to go. And what we're also doing is creating these personalized recommendations that are driven on the basis of our AI and obviously on the basis of location that you are in. One sec, that went back. And what we're also going to be doing is launching smart updates that are optimized for your mobile data plan. How many of you have an unlimited data plan on your phone? A show of hands. I think most of us do, right? Do you know about 90% of it gets wasted every day? And your phone never actually updates your app because the default settings are always use Wi-Fi to update. Why do you want to waste all your data and rely on, hey, whenever the next time I get Wi-Fi is when I download? So what we do is we allow you to upgrade your apps smartly in the background so as to ensure that the data you've actually paid for is not going to waste. So that's how it's just going to look. Very basic, very simple. You just update everything and that's about it. And what we're also bringing to the table is a personalized storage management. So what you can do is, just from the single place, you can literally manage all your apps, update them. You want to keep some, you want to delete some, totally your call. So you can sort it out by size, recently added, take your pick. You can decide whichever way. And coming to, I think a lot of you are gamers in the room, right? India happens to be the world's #1 market in terms of global gaming downloads. So what we are doing is, we are actually launching a comprehensive gaming suite as well, wherein we'll have something for literally all types of gamers, from a casual gamers to heavy gamers to RMGs. Indus Appstore is open to literally have every single kind of game that exists right now. So we have the casual game.
That was struck hard and flat.
And we do not own the app Indus Battle Royale Mobile, even though the names are the same. Indus is also, by the way, a Bangalore-based developer.
पूरे स्क्वाड बचे हैं, कुछ सोचना पड़ेगा.
कॉस्बिन क्लच करें? तूने बोला था ना कि
By the way, this game's coming this August. It's already in beta, so feel free to sign up. And then obviously everybody.
कब है हार्दिक भाई? देश की उम्मीदों का वजन है, लिफ्ट तो करना पड़ेगा.
तू पहले इनको उठा रिशु। वर्ल्ड कप है, थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा तो बनता है। इस खेल में आदत लगना या आर्थिक जोखिम संभव है, जिम्मेदारी से खेलें।
Any kind of game that you want to list, to play, it's all there on Indus. And I think where we are at is, we want every developer to kind of, at this point of time, come in and list on Indus. So you may say, why exactly list with us? Because what we are offering is, we are offering a 24/7 local support. We are not in the business of, please drop us an email and we'll get back to you. We'd actually get back to you in real time. We're going to be launching target-based, target release management that's going to be cohort-based. What you can do is, you can select which cohorts of your app get an update first. That just helps a lot of folks with CUG as well. You can kind of just manage it right from the Indus App Store dev board, dashboard. And what we'll also offer is instant updates. That's something I spoke about. And what we're also going to be offering you is real-time analytics and insights. We've got a proper research team in place that's kind of working, that's going to be working with you to give you insights about your app. And for marketers out there, do you know, actually most of our apps get uninstalled at a very high rate. That's because the right people aren't actually downloading the app. So the misclicks, a lot of times the ads are shown, the crosses are in some right corner in a white out area, wherein people can actually not cross out the app and they end up downloading it, which is why a lot of marketers have really poor funnels. So what we're going to be offering is listing in 12 Indian languages, so that the right folks who are looking for your app are able to actually discover it. We're going to be offering a whole suite of customized ads. As PhonePe, our ad stack's fairly developed. I think most of you would have seen that. And what we're going to also be offering is a video-led app discovery. We're not going to be offering you just an app discovery. The way a lot of us consume short-form content is how you'd be able to consume a lot of the app content on Indus. And obviously, we're going to be offering you targeted advertising. The distribution advantage a lot of you folks might end up seeing with Indus in the next 6 to 9 months is the fact that we're going to be partnering with some of the biggest OEMs in India that would put you literally on every single phone in the coming years. And we're going to be accessing all the PhonePe owned channels. So every channel that PhonePe has will have an access to the Indus App Store. And obviously, I think we do a decent job at marketing. So you'll have access to everything of that sorts as well. And by the way, there's no additional development that any of the Android developers need to do at this point to come onto the Indus App Store. You can literally use the APKs you have, get them listed, and we can get them going. And we're not going to be charging any listing fee for first year. And the biggest piece that as PhonePe and Indus we're bringing to the table is that developers will not have to pay in-app commissions. It's going to be 0%. It's not a today thing. It's a forever thing. And what we're also bringing to the table is the freedom to use your own billing solutions. So I am not going to be saying, hey, you need to route all your payments through me. I'm going to build you a product, I'm going to offer you one, but that's always going to be optional. Developers can feel free to use whichever payment solution they want. So that's us. You can visit indusappstore.com and list your apps, and let's get going. Open for questions if anybody has any, or we can close. Cool, we'll close then. I'm going to be, okay, please. No worries, no worries. Yeah. Yeah, no worries. So we've just launched, yeah, so we've crossed just a couple of million downloads for the Indus App Store. Right now, we are not charging any developer any sort of money, so developers, that's not integrated into us, so we obviously wouldn't know how much our developers making of it as of now. Again, it's a work in progress, and that's something we're building as we go along. But what we are doing is we've just done a couple of million downloads, so that's all organic. I think when our OEM deals come into the scheme of things is when you'd see insane amount of downloads for your app developers as well.
Yeah, I have a question. What's the revenue share towards the developer? What are you thinking of?
Right now, everything goes to a developer. We don't keep anything. And that's a in perpetuity thing. We're not going to be keeping anything just because you are a part of the Indus App Store.
Thank you.
I think my question is, this is an app and a website store as well, or is this
just an app store?
Okay.
We don't have a web store right now.
Okay, and so why and what's your kind of plan for a web store? Because from an access point of view, you're still dependent on a store for the access to your own app store, right? Do you see any kind of
So that's in the works.
changes?
That would be there very, very soon. Because I think right now where we are at is we just want to be testing it out with the consumers first, testing it out with the developers, and then kind of have it in the next few months.
Thank you.
Cool. I'm going to be around. Feel free to chat up during the day.